Zed and I would like to wish you, my beautiful YouTube community, a very safe, peaceful, and joy-filled holiday season. Thank you for being a part of the community of Kylie Savage Psychic here on YouTube, for subscribing to the channel, for watching the videos, for leaving your comments and feedback, and for every tiny and big bit of assistance and support you have given me and my small business this year. We want you to know, don't we, Zed, how much we appreciate it and you. Okay, Zed's going to say see you, and I'm going to pull you some cards for Oracle Cast. There you go. He can sit back down and try not to knock everything over whilst he does. So, how are you? Pop it in the comments below. I know it's been a while, and if you've missed me, thank you for missing me. I've missed you too. Yes, I rewatched last month's Oracle Cast, was it November, and I was like right at the end of the video, no, October went so fast, or November went, was it October went so fast that, no doubt it'll be just seem like the tiniest bit of time, and I'll be back with December Oracle Cast. And if you have been watching these videos and you do subscribe and you are part of my community, then you will know nothing happened in December here on the channel, except for I did film 2 conversations with Kylie, and I trust that you've already gone and watched those and liked the videos and given us some comments and feedback. So yes, December. If you have made it to December 2022, then I think we all deserve some snaps. What a year. I really don't want to spiral. I don't want to get depressive, and I don't want to fall down the wormhole, the big rabbit hole of recapping 2022 and things getting messy and out of control here. Not in this tiny little corner of the internet. Anyway, can't say, anything else about the rest of everything else going on in my life. But let's just see if I can keep it together just for you and this video right here, right now, because I would really like to be able to do that. I have some news. Okay, so this month's Oracle Cast was going to be Declutter December, and I had so many plans. What is it? How do you make God laugh? You tell him your plans. God was just cracking it at me this month. Or goddess. She was having a right old laugh, let me tell you, I'm sure. Okay, so that's what was going to happen. It didn't happen. I was going to do lots of things in Kylie's Cubby, my free Facebook group. I had so many plans for so many things, and they just didn't work out. So the best way I can describe it is that the arse truly fell out of me this month, and I ended up with re-experiencing this pattern I have of overworking, overgiving, becoming overwhelmed, burning out, just crashing and burning. As an Aries sun, I have come to understand that it's really important to cultivate the slow burn. And I'm a slow learner, and it's taken me a very long time to practice the principles which are going to benefit me the most. And I'm human, and I'm doing the very best I can. Okay, so in that news, this is actually the last piece of filming I will do for 2022. So snaps for me. Yay! And I am glad to be able to get dressed and do my makeup and kind of fix my messy hair so that I can show up here today. And this is Christmas Eve, by the way, 24th of December, Christmas Eve. Ah, dear. And it's well over 30 degrees here in Sydney. Lovely. Got the AC on. I'm very grateful for that. What was I going to say? Yes, so this is the last piece of filming I'm doing. I have wrapped up just about everything in my business, and I will now be on holidays until the 1st of February. And that's exciting because on the 1st of February, we have our first Cuppa and Cards catch up for 2023. I would love for you to join me for that. So it's at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. No, sorry, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, AESD. Oh dear, come on, brain. I'm like, let's keep the cogs going. 6:30 p.m. AESD, Sydney, Australia time. So I'm aware that, that time zones, because we're a global community, they only fit so many people, and that's the time that I can do it. So it's every first Wednesday of the month. Pardon me. We meet on Zoom, and it's free for your first visit, and it's also free if you're a returning visitor and you bring along a friend who registers for the event. So you must be registered. You've got to email me, info@kyliesavage.com. And then what happens is, once a month we get together on Zoom. We have a great time. We care and share. We do a little bit of a meditation to connect into spirit, and then we have a practical exercise. And we use Zoom breakout rooms. People tend to like doing that. Sometimes we'll do a group reading. It's always a little bit different, and I'm so pleased with how it's gone. I think we ran it for about 8 times this year. And 22 Australian dollars per visit. I'm probably looking at opening up per term, so you can pay per term, which is just one less thing you have to think about. Oops, did I book and pay or not? I really would like to make things as easy as possible for you and for me. Okay, so that's Cuppa and Cards. Wednesday, 1st of February 2023. I will put my email in the comments, and please check the comments because I will also put a link to my gift for you. So that's my other news. This is my lovely gift for you, my community. It's going out to everybody. Well, it's already gone out to everyone who is on my newsletter list. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that. You can do that by emailing me, or you can do that, I think, on my website. Scroll to the bottom of the homepage on my website, and you can sign up for my newsletter. Okay, so this is my beautiful reflecting, releasing, and invoking ritual. This is the 3rd time I've put this together. It's in a lovely downloadable PDF. It's a printable one. It's not one of those ones you write on, because I want you to get out your pen and paper and do a proper ritual. It is much more beneficial. And that beginning quotes is by Colette Baron-Reid, and it says, transformation does not start with changing your outer world. It's an inside journey you take from who and what you are now to who and what you will become. And in here, I will take you through lots and lots of journaling prompts. So I give you a little bit of an introduction. You'll have to forgive me. I was feeling quite depressed when I wrote this. Just over the whole, end of one year, beginning of a new year, I outline for you everything you need to do the ritual. Everything is very simply explained, and then I take you through a journey of reflecting on what was, and then we go into releasing. So everything that you no longer need, and I'm also going to do a question like that for you today. And then we go into invoking. So to invoke means basically, what is it that you would like to have happen in your life? What is it you would like to experience? What are your desires? And what would you like to co-create with Spirit going forward? So there's your invocation. And you go through a few more journal prompts, and then on the very last page, so exciting, and I would really like to hear when you've done this ritual, this part of it, we have some extras. So for our extras, you get to choose a word of the year, a colour, a power number, and also an ally. And I use oracle cards. You'll use oracle cards right throughout the ritual. You'll pull oracle cards. I'll give you the prompts for that. And I would really like to know what your word or phrase is for 2023. And let me know. It's like a power triangle. So it's the word and phrase, the color, the power number, and then perhaps in the middle of that triangle you can place your allies. So I pulled oracle cards to find out who the allies were, and I pulled the goddess oracle card from Colette Baron Reid's Goddess Oracle, Parvati, which is all about devotion. I thought, that's really exciting, like recommitting and devoting myself to my spiritual practice first and foremost every day for next year. I always have a daily spiritual practice, which includes prayer. And this year, one of the things I was most proud of was meditating. I probably only missed 1 or 2 days. I got up to about 384 days meditating, and I think my best was about 90 consecutive days. And I did that via Insight Timer. I cannot recommend Insight Timer enough. My favorite teachers are on there, David G, some terrific mindfulness teachers, some Australian people. And I've only ever used the free version, but if you sign up for the membership, you get all the courses. There are people on there that I know, they're online friends, and they've done, posted meditations. So I've supported them and had to listen to their meditations. And Insight Timer is brilliant. I love statistics. And if you are a very practical, grounded kind of person and you love those stats and you have a little bit of a competitive streak, maybe we all have areas in our chart somewhere. And if you have, a bit of ambition, that's great. And if you just want to set up that challenge for yourself, so we're not competing with others, we're always in cooperation with others. Yeah, if you want to have a little bit of a competitive edge with yourself and see how you can do, see, what kind of progress you can make with your healthy habits, then I can't recommend Insight Timer enough. Already said that. You get progress stats and graphs. So I can see over time I started and it kind of went like this and then it went way up here. And I was like, yes, I am really, really proud of myself for that effort. So I created a routine to support me to be able to do it. And man, I miss it. I've had a break. I've put down everything for now. Most of my habits, I've put them down. I'm resting them because I can understand and see that you need perspective. And sometimes you have to rest something and be out of it, have a little bit of detachment so that you can look at the habit and say, the practice, the routine, the ritual, and say, okay, what's working about this and what's not working so well? And if I could change anything, what would I change? What would I keep the same? What's the impact, this action is having on my life? How do I feel about that? What do I think about that? Are there any insights, ideas? And I find it difficult to not have routines and daily habits. I'm very much a creature of habit, and I need that for my mental health especially, to stay focused and be productive. So I really struggle when I rest my habits, and yet I know it's important. Sometimes you just, and if you're an overdoer, you just need to put things down and rest them. You're not quitting. You're not chucking it in. You are not a failure. Don't make it mean that. You're putting things down and you are having a pause. Can you guess what one of my words are for next year? That's right. I've got less is more is my phrase. Space and rest are my words for next year. Just put things down. They'll be there when you come back. And then, you come back to things with a fresher energy, with a new energy, and you've reflected on the purpose of these actions you're taking in your life. And it's true, the secrets to your success in life really are in your daily habits. And if you don't know what these habits are, how can you change them? Or how can you see the impact they're having on your life and the life of people around you? I always say, if you ever want to change or if you ever have, trouble in your life, you usually never have to look any further than here. That's right, the end of your own nose. Hard truth, yet helpful. Okay, so Why was I talking about all that? I know I'm going to be already am very distracted. So I told you about the ritual. I will put the link for the ritual in the comments. I would love to hear how you go with it. And please know you are worth making the time to do something like that. A ritual has, a sacred, magical element to it when you do something like this. And I felt so much better after I had done it. Okay, so I talked about that. Talked about covering cards. Newsletter list, yes, talked about that. Right. Have you seen Conversations with Kylie? There's a whole playlist here on this channel which is titled Conversations with Kylie, and it's one of the things, snaps again, I'm super proud of, which I did this year. Pardon me. Conversations began, I think it was two years ago, might have been a bit longer, and it began, and I was like, yes, I'll probably do it weekly. Then I was thinking monthly. Monthly is much more practical and manageable. And I didn't know exactly why I was starting Conversations with Kylie, except I really, really want to talk about spiritual business. And I really, really want to talk to women in spiritual business because I wanted to offer them some practical guidance and assistance for them and wherever they were at their business journey. Probably more, it's probably more aimed towards startup businesses because I think that getting the right kind of assistance and support can make a huge difference to your business journey and your experience of being in spiritual business. So that was kind of the loose mission statement for Conversations with Kylie. And I'm so pleased with how it's evolved. And the other thing is, I'm a 30/3. They're my life path numbers, and 3 is expression and sensitivity. So I've got a double helping of that. I'm also a Gemini rising, and we are the talkers. Okay? We are definitely like, this is me. Talking is my superpower. I'm not always great at communicating. I'm not always great at listening and understanding. And I'm not always great at expressing myself. Because sometimes when you work with a number, you work it more towards, I don't like saying, but in the negative, until you work it along a spectrum between negative and positive, until you can work it more in the positive. So just because I have a double 3, it doesn't mean I'm, a fantastic communicator and I'm really, so great at expressing myself. No, in fact, it means these are the areas I'm most challenged in. Yet, as I grow and develop and expand my skill set and learn to become a better communicator and to express myself in really good, healthy ways, then, I'm sitting in my sweet spot, in life. And I'm understanding that, these are my best skills. And this is where I can make the most impact in life and where I can, achieve the most success and feel the most content and purposeful. And my life has more meaning. So if you don't know your life path numbers, your birth numbers, it's definitely worth finding out. Excuse me. What was I talking about? Okay, probably just going to say, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? Look at my notes again. Oh, Conversations with Kylie. That's what I was talking about. So I'm really, really pleased with how that has gone, and I would love for you to go and click on the playlist and work your way through it. Thank you to all of my guests on Conversations with Kylie. I really appreciated these ladies saying yes to being a guest because it's not such an easy thing to say yes, I'll go on your show and be filmed, and to be able to speak without, following a script and things like that, and to be able to have a conversation. And it's something that I still find challenging. I need to listen and then think about my response and yet keep the conversation flowing. So I'm learning all the time. And if I didn't have guests coming on, then I wouldn't get that opportunity to practice. So I'm very, very grateful and appreciative to everyone. If you've watched the videos, you liked the videos, you shared them with your friends, if you were a guest on the show, thank you. It's been great. And I have my first guest booked in already for next year. So Conversations with Kylie is one of the things that will be returning in 2023. Okay, I think that's it. I just would really like to know how you're going. And I have 4 questions to read for you. And I'm going to read to you, do the readings from the Nature's Whispers Oracle, which you know is by Angela Hartfield and it's illustrated by Josephine Wall. It's a beautiful deck. And you know what it is? It's one of my Hug from the Universe decks. It's a deck that I go for when I need a gentle message full of self-compassion, and I need a message that's nice and easy and soft and gentle, because that is all I'm up for today and the rest of this month and probably well into the new year. I just need everything to slow down and soften, and I need more ease in my life. I need more space in my life, and I need more support so that I can respond to life. Anything that improves my respond ability, I'm up for that. So let's hear from you. And I need for you to take a breath in through your nose, because you know we're all into breathing out here. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Shoulders are dropping away from your ears. And I'd like for you to arrive in this moment, right here, right now. And another nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's it. Just settle in. And when you're ready, I would like for you to choose a number between 1 and 4 intuitively, and you can do that now. Okay, so the message, the cards, the number of the card, I've said this so many times, I still screw it up. The number of the card you picked, the card for the number that you picked, that card's message will just be a little bit more pertinent and relevant for you and for whatever is going on in your life right at this time whenever you watch this video. And if you need more assistance and support, if you need more of a message than what you're going to receive here today, there's a whole library of videos which you can go back through. And what you can do is you can use these pick a pile readings and that whole library as an oracle. It's an oracle in and of itself. So you just need to do what we just did. Take a breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, settle down, be here now. Think of your question. You know that I only ever like you to ask open-ended, really terrific questions, because when you ask the very best question, you receive the very best response from Spirit. And then click on a video, pick your card, and there's your message. All right, so I have 4 questions, and I'm just going to shuffle and look through those questions and tap my cards. And this is really in the way, so I'll just move that. Okay, so I'm going to be asking how we can best process and integrate our experiences of this year. And then I'm going to be asking what could we release that no longer serves us. And question number 3 will be, where is our attention and energy best directed now? And to wrap it up, a 4th question I'm asking, how can we look towards the future with both faith, pragmatism, and hope? So I trust that those questions are going to resonate with you. Just getting a little bit more comfortable. All right, I've already split this deck in 2 and given it a good shuffle, but I'll do that again. I really like doing that fan thing to mix up my cards, mix them up. Okay, so I'm saying, how can we best process and integrate our experiences this year? And I'm thinking maybe it's like, how can we best process and integrate our experiences of this year? That might have been better. So I'll just write that experiences of this year. Yeah, like how do we deal? How do we deal with everything that's already gone on? Because look, as you said, I'm not going down the rabbit hole, okay? I'm not going to spiral out. Yeah, this year was a lot. And if you are still, I don't like saying still, if you're in survival mode, it's very, very understandable. I have been in survival mode since the beginning of the pandemic, prior to the pandemic, and in survival mode for way, way too long. All right. So I'm doing things a little bit differently here. Excuse me. Rearrange myself. So I shuffled, put the deck in my left hand. I've cut it into 4 piles. So I'm just going to work my way across these cards and trust that Spirit has worked out all the details because they do that and they do it beautifully. Okay. So if you chose card number 1, we have Be True to Your Heart, number 26. And I know you won't be able to see the message on the card there, but there she is. Be true to your heart. So this is the card that's assisting and supporting you with how do we best process and integrate our experience of this year. Be true to your heart. And you and I kept feeling is don't fake it. If this year was completely and utterly shit for you, it was another garbage fire of year, just even as painful as that is, just let that in. Because when you let that in and you truly admit your feelings, your thoughts about this year, then you will begin to process them at all the levels you need to process them at. And it will take a lot more than just, working through one ritual or one day or one counseling session or, one good long walk. I mean, sometimes you can have a shift and it's like, yes, you've processed, you've integrated. It's so fast. And it's like, yes, something's happened. You've had a spiritual experience of a type, and yeah, you're in a completely different place to what you were. That does happen. And yet, sometimes it's a much slower, ongoing process, and it's, peeling the layers of the onion, layer by layer by layer. And some days you'll be feeling, yes, fantastic. This all makes sense to me now. You've made meaning of this year. You feel like it's integrated. You've consolidated the knowledge and the understanding, the wisdom. You've gleaned it. You've got the gold, and you'll be feeling great. And the next day you feel completely and utterly shit all over again. That is understandable. That is something that happens. You don't need to make it mean that, oh my God, it's all on you and you just can't get this message, or you are a super slow learner. I mean, we are all slow learners. I mean that in the nicest possible way. I mean that in the way of it can take many, many experiences for us to consolidate, a piece of knowledge and experience. I don't like saying a lesson, but it's a lesson. Okay, so if that's what happens, please reassure yourself that that's okay. That is how it goes. And there are exceptions to every rule. So you may have a quick shift, and yet more than likely you will take a long time to process this. We have been through so many changes so fast that it's just nuts. It's just nuts. And our brains and our bodies were not wired for change to happen the way it has. And a lot of us are playing catch up. I'm trying to work out what this on this card. So there's fish. She's kind of holding a beautiful jeweled lotus. The little hummingbird is really sticking out to me, little fairies and trumpets and music. So be true to your heart. I just feel like when you come to the end of this year, trust in those things that really deeply resonate with you. Trust your intuition about things, and even if it's painful, there's probably a lot of stuff that needs to go. And when we talk about, letting things go, like they don't actually go, they get replaced. But it's like, what if you don't want to practice a certain thing anymore, then you need to replace it with something else. So it's not that anything really ever goes. I like to talk about dissolving energy, but we know energy can never be destroyed. It's only ever transformed, transmuted. It changes. It still exists. Um, so think about what you would replace things with. That's probably much like a better technical term than saying release, let go. Releasing, letting go, dissolving all sounds nice, but what actually happens is things get replaced. So you no longer practice a certain habit or behavior or thought train or whatever. It gets replaced with something else. So be true to your heart. I feel like Spirit is saying, just trust those things that are really sticking now, that resonate, that feel deep, that feel true, and the rest is got to be shifted. It's got to go. Okay, what could we release that is no longer serves us? If you chose card number 2, we've got empowerment. Oh, that's interesting. Thanks, Spirit. Super tricky. How are we going to work this one out? What could we release that no longer serves us? Empowerment. So what they're saying is, it may seem like when the dust settles, you do all that clearing, releasing, and you see, what's left. Because I reckon we're like, for me personally, I'm in the rubble. And when I wrote that releasing, which I was just saying, in the rubble, it's messy, it's yucky, no one can find clean water, there's no food, you're in that real survival disaster mode, and it's like everything's upended, everything's destroyed, and you're standing there and you're just shell shocked. And it's like that weird transition in between time, like there's no normality, it's all gone, and yet you're alive. You survived whatever it was. So how do you go on? And, then in the days afterwards, you start to see, in the rubble, little tiny shoots of grass. Life returns. So what's empowering is the letting go, is acknowledging exactly, honestly, radically honestly where you're at, even if it's yuck and you don't like it and you would rather stick your head, up the river denial. You would rather stick your head in the sand. You would rather any other truth than what is. It's not going to help you. What's empowering is facing that truth and working with what you have where you're at right now. And, rewriting the story. It doesn't have to mean that everything is gone. You can't scrabble and get things back which are gone. You just got to let them go. You've got to move on. You've got to experience this shift. That's empowering. And empowering means, where is your power at? So what's empowering is being honest with yourself, getting the support and assistance that you need, because you could be in bad shape. God knows I am. You could be in a really rough place. I don't know what you've been through. You don't know exactly what I've been through. It's pretty shit. That could be it. And yet, what's empowering when you're in that place? I always come back to this. In the abyss, there lies your treasure. That Joseph Campbell quote. It's when you're in the hole, the disaster zone. Everything else has been moved away. It really matters what you think about there, what you feel there, what you experience there, and what you do next. That's where your power is. Okay, I trust that's making sense. Oh dear. Where is our attention and energy best directed for now? Oh, I love this. Seek beauty. This sounds like if you thought about things the way most Western people, Western culture thinks about it. And I'll just move it out of the way. I just want to direct your attention to the little flower over there. So what happens is we have shared collective values, and sometimes they're really screwed up. And sometimes the things that we value don't lead us to the places where we'd like to go. And beauty is one of those things where we, as a human race, are really good at destroying what's beautiful in our world. And we're really good at deciding for ourselves and everyone else what beauty is. Beauty lies in the eye of the beholder, that kind of thing. Because beauty is an individual experience, but it can also be an experience that bonds us together with a common appreciation of aesthetics. And beauty is as essential as oxygen. And that sounds nuts, I know. If there's no oxygen, you won't breathe and you will die. Yet, do you want to live in a world without beauty? Because what dies in a world without beauty is your soul. I want for you to pay attention. Spirit wants for you to pay attention because beauty feeds your soul, it heals you, it reconnects you with the meaning and purpose of life and why you're here, why you came here, what you're doing here, who you're going to do it with, why you're going to do it with them, what for. Beauty is like, I can't explain it. I really, how do you explain beauty? You let me know. You tell me in the comments. What is beauty for you and what does it do for you? What does it mean for you and what does it do for you? Okay, and now why I say, is that number 3? The little flower in the corner. So that's a dahlia. I had an experience, my daughter and I have been going around getting all the shopping for the holiday celebration, and I was in the grocers. She's the most lovely person. Shout out to Grace. She's a local farmer, and we were going in there and I was standing in the shed and I noticed the dahlias, and they are one of my most favourite flowers. I love roses. I mean, I love so many flowers, but dahlias, because they're so bloody perfect. And I'm looking and I went, oh, dahlias. And then Grace says to me, pardon me, she says, take them. And I said automatically, oh no. She ended up giving us this beautiful bunch of flowers, and they're reds and oranges, and they've just, the long stem dahlias and the round puffball ones. And we've had them in our house, and we just keep looking at them and admiring them, fixing them up and retrimming them and refreshing them. And I just looked at it and I took a photo of it against the backdrop. And I love that real scarlet color with the deep turquoise. And I also love gold. And I'm just like, the beauty of this flower, the color, watching, I've got a little one on that one on the windowsill in the kitchen, watching the light come through the petals. And it just has been touching me in a way that nothing else has. And when I have experiences like that, I'm so grateful that I can see, that I can feel my emotions, and I can experience life through my senses. And I'm reminded of who and what I am through a beautiful flower. How simple is that? Please take the time, especially over your holidays, if you have a chance to, be at home and have some time off from whatever it is you usually do. Please take some time to just sit with something beautiful or in a beautiful place. And I always talk about nature being the best healer. And just take a moment for you. Just really connect to the beauty that's in front of you, around you, and just experience it. Okay, number 4 is how can we look towards the future with both faith, pragmatism, and hope. And pragmatism is about being practical. It's about saying, okay, these are all the things that could happen. This is probably what will happen. And what's the best? most practical action to take here. I really feel like pragmatism is something that's underrated and it's very necessary right now. Okay, culmination of vision. Ooh, that is a beautiful card. Okay, how can we look towards the future with both faith, pragmatism, and hope? Culmination of vision. It feels to me like I really could go down a rabbit hole here. And we're 40 minutes in, so thank you if you're still watching. I really appreciate your patience. Um, culmination of vision. How can we look towards the future with both faith, pragmatism, and hope? I'm just waiting. I'm just connecting. Like I'm hearing a dial tone. I have my foot on my grounding stone. That's how airy fairy I am at the moment. Okay, culmination of vision and how can we look towards the future with both faith, pragmatism, and hope? I was talking about this vision I kept seeing for the future. And I was talking about that, I think, back in 2020, maybe 2021. If any of you have watched it, know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments to remind me. And it was about there is a vision that I connect to, and it is coming back. Like one part of me just wants to be so sad and feel really depressed and all the hopelessness of all the things that are going on. And another part of me is so excited. I'm the kid in the rubble, playing with the rocks, going, isn't this just great? And it can be really challenging to live with, that cognitive dissonance. So holding two opposing ideas at the same time and living within the polarity, the nature of, the law of polarity. And, things are great, things are bad. Yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're all doomed. I feel fantastic. I just want to build a blanket fort and go to sleep for about 3 months. Are you feeling that? Culmination of vision, really, for me, this card is saying we need to hang on to our vision for the future. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that our vision for the future, it resonates and it has some points of commonality, that it is similar. You probably want what I want is, to live a beautiful life, for my family to be safe, for my children to have a good future, for us all to enjoy life on a planet that's healthy and well, to live in a country that's free from war and poverty and disasters and violence and all the things that make life so incredibly difficult here and challenging. And, it's just that time to keep digging deeper and to hang on to the faith that you do have. Your faith doesn't have to be a perfect thing, it never will be. Your faith is something that evolves and grows. And if your faith has really been, really taken some hits this year, I get it. I hear you. And I see you in that. And just because your faith may be looking pretty shabby right now and your vision of the future may be difficult to connect to, challenging to connect to, it's tricky, doesn't mean it's not still something worthwhile to work towards. And as everything is falling apart, what if we are absolutely living each and every moment the time of confluence and the time of transformation and the time of the rubble and things being destroyed, that cycle of life, death, and rebirth, things being destroyed, and at the same time, the tiny baby shoots rising up. And I really feel like we do need to be more unified in our vision for the future. We need to know what it is, we need to know where it is, why it is, how it is, what it needs, and we need to keep connecting with each other. However we do that, whenever we can. and it needs to come from the best part in us. You know, our actions can be imperfect and messy and, um, you know, they can feel ineffectual. Yet if we're all moving along in that generally the same direction, then the vision will become stronger. And like hope for me is tricky. Hope and I've always had a love-hate relationship because you can say, I hope that will happen. And yet your feeling is, I don't think it will. So I don't even usually use the word hope. I say, I trust. I love the word faith, you know, like faith, hope, and love. And hope is that guiding light. Hope is that vision out there in the future. It's a thing we move towards. Hope is that higher vision. I thank you for your patience as I've done my best to put this reading together, and I trust that you are taking something from it, even if it's just a word or a feeling. You're taking one thing from it that assists and supports you in a very practical way wherever you're at today. I really do appreciate you being here and for supporting this community for another year. And I will see you in 2023. Thank you.